Football is a physical sport that requires strength, endurance, and physicality, so it's no surprise that accidents frequently happen on the field. From the clash of heads to ugly tackles, every player contributes their quota to ensure their team wins. But what happens then when those wounds involve more than simply a few scrapes and bruises? What happens if a player's life is in danger? Here are top footballers who nearly lost their lives on the pitch. Christian Eriksen. Every fan in the stadium or at home watching had their hearts in their mouth during the Euros 2020. The former Tottenham man, Christian Eriksen, had a heart attack and collapsed on the field. In June 2021, during a group stage match between Denmark and Finland, Eriksen was spotted faltering and falling to the ground while dribbling the ball as the first half ended. The severity of the situation was immediately apparent, and medical personnel hurried onto the field. At the same time, Danish captain Simon Kjær attended to the injured player. While officials admitted CPR and used a defibrillator to revive him, the TV cameras cut away, and the Denmark team formed a shield around their teammates. Morten Boesen, the Denmark medical director, later revealed that Eriksen had a heart attack, passed out, and was resuscitated. Eriksen recovered consciousness and was placed onto a stretcher and carried out of the field, all the while spectators in the stadium and those watching at home watched, hoped, and prayed. Eriksen has made a remarkable recovery since and has returned to the Premier League. The 30-year-old now plays for Manchester United after signing for them from Brentford in the summer of 2022. Fernando Torres. Torres had a terrible accident during a match between Atletico Madrid and Deportivo La Coruña. After an aerial battle with Alex Bergantinos, Torres collapsed in the 85th minute. Players for Atletico Madrid discovered Torres unconscious and choking his tongue right away. Torres' mouth was forced open by teammates Gabi and Vrsaljko, and the players and the referee immediately requested medical assistance. The medical professionals treated him on the field for several minutes. Eventually, he was carried directly to the hospital on a stretcher in an ambulance. His teammates were nearly in tears from astonishment after learning of Torres' head injuries. Carlos Lerino, the club physician for Deportivo, later praised Gabi and Vrsaljko for their excellent response in keeping Torres from choking on his tongue. Atletico Madrid coach Diego Simeone stated that they were anxious after the game and hoped he would recover. The 32-year-old spent the night in the hospital undergoing different tests and a comprehensive physical checkup. Atletico later announced that scans had revealed no traumatic modifications or injuries, and that he would require 48 hours of rest. Torres eventually recovered. Petr Cech. Czech goalkeeper Petr Cech's story is known mostly because of his trademark helmet. On the 14th of October 2006, just 20 seconds into a match between Chelsea and Reading, Cech sustained a head injury after he collided with Stephen Hunt, a Reading midfielder. The collision was brutal, with Cech fracturing his head. Petr Cech attempted to recover the ball when Stephen Hunt's boot struck him in the head. Cech's skull was deeply fractured due to the force of the blow. For both players, it was a turning point in their lives. It required immediate brain surgery for Cech, who was only 24 at the time, as well as months of healing. He was fortunate to live, but his professional life would never be the same. In every game after that, he was required to wear a safety skull guard. Hunt, a crucial player for Reading at the time, received scathing criticism and will forever be associated with the incident. He was held responsible by many for the crash that injured Cech. Even Jose Mourinho, the opinionated manager of Chelsea at the time, was extremely critical of Hunt, Reading, and the ambulance service following the event. The incident was one of the worst horrifying events in Premier League history. Both players' career went on despite the scandal. Cech helped Chelsea win 2 additional Premier League titles and even played for Arsenal. Hunt had 39 caps for the Republic of Ireland and continued to play for Reading until 2009. Fabrice Muamba. It was supposed to be just another game for Fabrice Muamba, the 23-year-old midfielder for Bolton Wanderers, when they faced off against Tottenham Hotspur in the 2012 FA Cup match at White Hart Lane in North London. But as fate would have it, the day would be anything but ordinary. Muamba passed out 43 minutes into the match, stunning the entire stadium. Medical personnel immediately rushed to the field and gathered around him as the game was cooled off. Muamba's heart had stopped beating for 78 minutes, leaving everyone in shock and panic. Luckily, CPR on Muamba was completed quickly. The suddenness of his fall drew everyone's attention to the seriousness of the situation. On that day, Tottenham Hotspur had 5 fully trained medical assistants, and the St John ambulance crew provided assistance as usual. It was a far cry from the game against Reading in 2006, when Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech fractured his skull. The ordeal left everyone shaken, but Muamba would go on to make a miraculous recovery. He retired from football a year later, but his experience left an indelible mark on the sport and highlighted the importance of prompt medical intervention during such emergencies. Today, Muamba is an advocate for CPR and defibrillator training, urging everyone to learn these vital skills that could potentially save lives. Muamba received 15 defibrillator shocks, 2 on the pitch, 1 in the tunnel, and more than 10 in the ambulance. CPR is used to persuade the heart to pump oxygen around manually. Still, the heart often needs to be jump-started with as much as a 300 joule electric shock. In total, Muamba took 4,500 joules in those 78 minutes. John Terry. It was the League Cup final and Chelsea was up against the stubborn Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. John Terry, the captain of Chelsea and England, was on the field, determined to win the cup for his team. But fate had other plans. A few days before the final, Terry fractured his ankle in a Champions League match against Porto. It was a miracle that he even competed in the final, but that is Terry. He was not one to give up easily. He had worked hard to earn a spot in the starting lineup and was determined to captain his beloved team to victory. The match was intense and both teams were evenly matched. With the scores tied at 1-1, Terry saw his chance to score with his head when Arsenal failed to deal with a corner. But as fate would have it, Abu Diaby of Arsenal attempted to volley the ball away at the same moment, striking Terry in the face with his boot. Terry swallowed his tongue, stopped breathing, and sustained a concussion. It was terrifying for everyone on the field, including Diaby himself. He thought he had killed Terry and was devastated by the incident. In fact, he confessed that he was so scared he started praying. Terry was treated for 5 minutes on the field before being stretchered to the hospital for immediate medical attention. Eventually, Chelsea won the match by 1 goal, but not before 2 Arsenal players and a Chelsea player were sent off. A couple of players also received yellow cards. The match was that hated. In the end, Didier Drogba's 2 goals made all the difference. He had a good scoring record against Arsenal, and the finals provided an opportunity for him to show it. Fortunately, John Terry was strong and healthy enough to leave the hospital shortly after and participate in the post-game celebrations. He was grateful to his teammates for their support and for leading the team to victory. He stated that he had no memory of anything that happened between when he entered the field for the second half and when he awoke in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Despite the victory, the incident left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed it. Terry's determination to put his body on the line for his team was admirable. However, it also showed the risks footballers take every time they step onto the field. Join us next time and don't forget to like and subscribe.